Okay, it's time for one of our favorite games on the show called What If It Was Purple? Up first, we have
F smash.
Okay.
Despite its name, you don't really see Marth's shield breaker actually used to break shields all that often. It happens and all, and it's dope when it does, but it seems as if a lot of players just look at it as F smash but in the air, and purple. The fact that it's a neutral special move, the way the hitbox comes out, and being able to charge it gives it a lot of really unique versatility you don't see out of a lot of moves in Melee. So let's jump into it. Let's get the boring stuff you already probably know out of the way first. If you're ending a combo on someone that you would normally end with a fair, but you think you'll get that whack hitbox that sends straight up, and you don't want to look like a fucking moron, that's a great time to end with a shield breaker instead. All of shield breaker's hitboxes will send mostly horizontal. In some positions, you can even get a reverse hitbox to get a DI mix-up if you have a truly massive brain. A full shield will break from just about 2 shield breakers. Keep in mind that if you've just done one shield breaker on a full shield, even just a couple of seconds of letting their shield recharge will prevent an instant break. If you get good at gauging when a shield is only about half full based on its size, you can hard read a shield with the shield breaker, especially if you haven't been trying to fish for it. But once again, don't expect this to happen in too many matches. After all, the rarity of breaking a shield is what makes it feel so rewarding. With that out of the way, let's get into some of the more niche and fun uses. One technique you've probably seen before is ledge breaker or shield breaker stall. I prefer not to call it shield breaker stall, mostly because actually stalling with it is really bad. It's super punishable with a crouch cancel, long hitbox, or projectile, and even, ironically, by shielding. Not only that, but it's super tight to do input-wise, having just a few frames of leniency to ledge release, double jump, and immediately do an uncharged neutral B. But if it's so bad, why even bother learning it at all? Well, first off, it looks cool. But there is one scenario where it's surprisingly useful. If the opponent is past crouch cancel percent, and you're stuck on the ledge, it is a fairly low commitment hitbox that, when connected, sends them far enough to easily provide you with the opportunity to take back stage control. This is still quite punishable with a shield though, so use this sparingly to catch them off guard when you're stuck on the ledge. Now let's talk about how to do this. If you ledge release with down, you're quite likely to accidentally fast fall, making it impossible to do this technique properly. And if you ledge release with back, you'll likely wind up with a B reversed, which will turn you around so you cannot grab the ledge and will probably die. So my method is what I call the Turbo Virgin Nerd Claw. To do this, I first ledge release by hitting down on the C-stick with my left thumb. Yes, my left thumb. And then clawing YB with my right pointer finger and thumb, respectively. This is quite precise. Hitting the C-stick improperly can result in a ledge release down air, which is an immediate SD. You can ledge release with C-stick back instead, which has some value as messing that up, getting ledge release back air, is something you can still live from, but you probably won't if your opponent is competent at all and is already by the ledge. The reason I prefer to use down is that it makes it the same input on either side of the stage's ledge, rather than having to adjust to the side you're on. All in all, ledge breaker is arguably not worth the time to learn, but if you can pick it up quick, it's not a bad tool to add to your arsenal. Plus, it's kind of fun. Next up is probably the most valuable use for the shield breaker, and that is using it defensively to get out of combos. Now, let's say you're getting comboed. Not that that would ever happen with your impeccable neutral game, but hypothetically. There are many situations where you're out of hit stun just barely, but if you were to start an aerial, the hitbox wouldn't come out by the time you land. And double jumping is risky since they're still trying to extend the combo. Or maybe you don't even have your jump at all. And air dodging and wave landing require wiggling out of tumble, and honestly probably still getting comboed. This is where the defensive shield breaker, or combo breaker as I like to call it, comes in. Since shield breaker is a special move and not an aerial, you can start to hit B to start the shield breaker, and when you land, the move isn't cancelled and will instead continue, letting your hitbox come out as you land and swat them back. And even if you don't manage to hit them, you are being comboed anyways, and you haven't wasted your double jump or any other resources. All in all, Combo Breaker is a great low-risk, high-reward way to get out of a combo, especially when your opponent is at mid or high percent. Now let's talk about some edge guard with Shield Breaker, because we want those kills too. As you probably already know, Grounded Shield Breaker and Aerial Shield Breaker have a slightly different hitbox. A Grounded Shield Breaker is sort of like a smaller F-Smash, but an Aerial Shield Breaker goes much lower, so doing one near the ground allows you to hit below the stage a significant amount. This is where a technique, shown to me by my friend Shifty Badger, comes in, which I call the Shifty Slice. When edge guarding, if you're on the ledge and want to cover options that go to stage, go to ledge, and go high, this is the technique for you. And don't worry, this one doesn't require any cursed hand contortion. First off, you ledge release and double jump just barely over the stage. Then you input a B reverse shield breaker. If from their angle they go to the ledge or just barely onto the stage, you release it immediately and swat them away. Or, if they go high, you can charge the shield breaker for an incredibly powerful finishing move. Speaking of charging shield breaker, you may already know this, but the way knockback is calculated has many variables, including character weight, the percent the character is at after the move connects, and the percent damage the move itself does. An uncharged, not stale shield breaker does 7%, whereas a fully charged one does 28% unstaled, making it the highest knockback Marth can get, even more than a fully charged Tipper F smash. So when a puff misses a rest, or after you break a shield, fully charging shield breaker is almost always the optimal punish if they aren't at literally 0%, in which case you'd probably want a low tipper dare punish into a grab. Another powerful use of charging shield breaker is an edgeguarding Sopo. Sopo has one of the most linear recoveries in the game without Nana around. In a position where they have to squall hammer, you can jump to their height at the point where they would cross over the stage, and begin charging your shield breaker mid-air. If they continue forward, you release it early, hit them back off stage to rinse repeat. But if they wait you out, they begin to fall with you, and you can keep charging until they drift in for an even stronger shield breaker. This is a very easy to do and very high reward edgeguard. One last edgeguard comes in handy most often against Peach and Puff. If you position yourself by the end of the stage they're recovering from with your back towards them, especially on one of the side platforms on Battlefield, Yoshi's, or Dreamland, you can threaten a back air if they come in high, and if after jumping they start to go low, a B reverse neutral B reaches much lower while still covering a nice middle height. Option: coverage. But let's say you really want to break shields with it. How would you go about doing that? Well, aside from the obvious reading a shield input when it's already taken about half shield damage, I have a very strong but incredibly difficult to perform tech for you. If you're not already familiar with platform canceling, which is different from edge canceling, this is a technique only applicable to certain moves from certain characters, which Marth can perform with his fair. To do it, you drop through a platform and start a fair the first frame you're actionable. If your opponent is hit, regardless of whether or not they shield it, you will be put back into the same platform. So, by L canceling this fair and chaining together a few more, you can get some massive shield damage very quickly. Following this up by falling through the platform with a shield breaker will not only break the opponent's shield, but will also let them know who the alpha is in this game. With all of this wisdom, you now have more edgeguarding power, a great tool for defense, and the ability to break shields as well as hearts. Now go hit the CRT, it's grind time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, subscribing, liking, and commenting would be a huge help. You can also check out my Twitter and Twitch in the description for more of my content. If you like the music, check out my boy Easy Monday on SoundCloud and Spotify, linked in the description. Also, Joyboy and I will be running the New England Online Arcadian on October 17th. This event is open to all New England players who haven't been on the New England PR, as well as players from some nearby regions. This will be streamed on both my and his Twitch channels, linked in the description below. Happy grinding!